Welcome to day 207 of TFIF 365. And I just want to talk about something that I recently had a conversation with a client about. And it's something I had to unpack with them, and I want to share this nugget with you. So it sits under supremacy free, which is equal value, right? So we, particularly when we're talking about community building, we're talking about building coalitions, solidarity. I often talk about negotiating those roles before you dive into a collaboration. You need to talk about how people learn, how people like to receive information, their communication styles, if they even know it, like what time of day that they like to work. Those are basic kind of things when you're collaborating with someone, because you want to respect people's time, you want to respect their energy, output, and all those other things. But one of the things that we really don't talk about is how often folks who need certain things, like I have ADHD. I never understood the concept of body doubling. And let me explain what body doubling is. It is sitting or being in a space, in a situation where I could go to a coffee house with a friend. We don't need to talk. I have my headphones on, but their energy, them being there helps me focus. I can stay focused and I can get some stuff done. I can get some, really intense work done, right? Or I have a friend who every Monday, because I struggle with administrative tasks now that I don't have an assistant, right? I struggle with like going through emails is hard for me. And people are like, oh, just sort your email. You don't understand what that means. Because once I open it, I need to now find a place to put it. And if I don't already have a category or a folder or something to put that in, now I got to figure out where to put it, because if I don't put it in the right place, I'm not going to be able to find it when I need it. I need to figure out key. Do I need to tag it? So it's not just about opening emails for me. It is a whole arduous task of opening emails. And that's why I have so many tabs across the top, because I know I'm going to go back to them. And with my ADHD, if I don't leave it up, I'm going to forget, because if it's not in my mind, in my sight, I just forget it. It's not personal. It's not me being an asshole. If it's not top of mind, I don't think about it. I tell people all the time, I treat things as if they're in a queue. If it's something important 2 months from now, trust me, I'm not paying attention to it. I may start putting stuff in a folder. If I come across it, I'm not paying attention to it. If I come across something that will relate to, if I'm giving a talk, let's say in 3 months, right? I will, if I come across the information, I'll put it in a folder. But then I have to make sure I created the folder first. So when it comes up in the queue, and it's 2 months later or 3 months later, and it's next week, then I have the stuff in the folder that I can go through, and then I bring everything there. My brain will not let me focus on that thing 3 months from now. It's not happening. And that has been a problem. That's a problem when you're in education, because it doesn't fit that model. It's a problem in families because it doesn't fit that model, because people want to, no, I can't. And I never had the words to explain it. So body doubling is one of those things that helps me work. It's also why when I eat, I cannot sit down and eat my meal until everything I don't want to get up. So if I need salt, I need to season, I need to put everything, I need to have everything there. So when I sit down to eat, I don't have to get up again, right? Because when I get up again, I get distracted and all kinds of stuff. And so that's another thing. If I don't do that thing with that email right away, and if I don't mark it as snooze or unread, it gets lost. So for me, I have to find tools for me that work, right? I have to find processes for me that work. The problem is we get in these situations, and particularly if we don't understand those kind of things. Like I didn't understand the term body doubling, but I've been doing it all my life, right? And so when I know I need something that will benefit from body, if I'm doing a task or something that needs the benefit of a body doubling, I go to a group of people I know and say, hey, anybody want to work with me for 2 hours? And they know they're not working with me. They're just on the damn Zoom call, or we at the coffee house together. so that I can work. But that's how I work. But I can never put that on somebody else. That is how I work. And if no one's available, then I have to either figure out a way to get that task done, or I got to put it aside until somebody else is available. And so those are the things that we need to negotiate or be respectful of when we're working with people or in communities. How I work, I cannot put that and make that responsibility for somebody else, because that might not be how they work. And that's a lot of ways of how communication breaks down in organizations or working on a common goal. We project our needs onto other people without asking their permission. And then if they give us our permission, we don't give them the space to renegotiate that agreement in those times that they don't feel like or want to or can keep that commitment, right? And so that is about, when we're talking about supremacy, coercion, discrimination, and exploitation free, we have to be agile. We have to be able to renegotiate. We have to be able to recognize when it's our personal shit and when we're putting our personal shit on somebody else, which is unfair. And so as I was talking to this client, I was trying to remind them that the situation they were setting up as a binary was actually an and, not an or, right? It wasn't this needs to happen or that. It is this needs to happen and this needs to happen. And I have to figure out how to move within those two things. And I can't rely on or require my other teammates to help me figure this out. It is my responsibility to take care of my own well-being and develop the strategies or the circumstances that will allow me to thrive. And then I communicate that with my teammates, with my stakeholders. And let me refresh what stakeholders are. Those, number one is people who work for you. Number two is people who you partner with. Number three is people who buy from you. Number four is people who you impact. And number five is people who invest in you, right? So you have to think about all those stakeholders and their needs, and then think about what you need and how that fits. So it's rarely an or. It's usually, more times out of 10, I find it's an and. And when I can get my clients to see the and, they're like, oh, because when you come from a place of or only, you're about to set up conflict. It's about to be chaos, because you have your will and the other individuals have their will. And if there's no and in there where everybody can benefit at some point, then it becomes a zero-sum game. And then the power plays start. And then we're not in supremacy free. We're not thinking about equal value. We're thinking about what we need as opposed to what the collective needs and how the collective can thrive. So I hope that was helpful. So until tomorrow, peace.